starting a new league here. We have a 1-lander, probably not going to cut it. We're going to mulligan that. The old Lotus Petal 1-land tap land. Double Glaze Fiend. We're on the draw. Glaze Fiend's real good. This hand might be good enough to just hope we draw a second land. Because if we do, we get Glaze Fiend, refurb with Blood Fountain. I think we're going to keep this one and get rid of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I almost want to get rid of the Lotus Petal. That might be too greedy. But yeah, but like we almost have the artifacts for the Enforcer. But I think we got to just keep the Lotus Petal just in case. You need Petal to play Fiend. Well, this hand doesn't really work unless we draw a land anyway. So so I'm kind of just banking on the banking on getting the land anyway. So if we don't get the land, the hand already doesn't work very well. Like one Lotus Petal Glaze Fiend isn't really going to do enough. So it was almost like lean even more into the greed. But we kept it. It's fine. We get the bridge, so I can do a turn 2 Glaze Fiend if I want with the Petal. And we're just going to pass here. Never didn't have it. Yeah, we ended up being okay. And they Faithless Looting, so probably Mono Red Madness. Lava Dart and a Snacker. Yep. This is a tough match just because Lava Dart's so brutal for us with the Glaze Fiends. I guess I just Blood Fountain? But then we're wasting triggers. I guess I just Lotus Petal and a Glaze Fiend, even though they can just dart it. But if they don't have a dart in hand or a bolt in hand, maybe they have to use a one from the grave, in which case they have to lose a mountain, so that's not nothing. Swing with the Epic here, we will take 1. They have a Highway Robbery, so getting back their Snacker. Discard another Robbery. They have a mountain, and they pass. Alright, so obviously I could play a Glaze Fiend, that grows this, but then they both just die to Lava Darts or Bolts, and we just get very little value. So I feel like I want to refurb here. If they want to let the Glaze Fiend grow, okay, they do. Then I could play a Blood Fountain to grow it twice. I could play just another refurb. I think we just do that for more damage quicker. Now they could still bolt it if they want to do that, but that's fine. Yep, looks like they are gonna. Although this leaves them with only 1 card in hand. Bolt this, they discard 1 of the refurb. They have a Lava Dart. You know, we're not in a terrible spot. Discard a Fire Blast. They swing with both, so they probably have a draw 2 here. Problem is, we don't really have a way to deal damage without these guys, because like Glaze Fiend is not gonna do it through the Lava Dart. I guess we have a Blood Fountain to work up to get, like getting these in the graveyard wouldn't be bad for that, but that seems tough because we have we're 2 lands away from using it. Yeah, I'm just not sure what to do here with their removal really hosing us. I guess I swing for 4 and I play a Glaze Fiend, and then next turn I can do some stuff, but obviously this probably dies. I don't know. We'll take it. They have a Flame Breather, they have their Robbery, sack a mountain, discard a Snacker to a Blood, play a mountain. They have a Lava Dart in the grave, 2 cards in hand. We get a land. So I bolt the Flame Breather. We start with the Synth, I think. So if they wanted to Lava Dart this, they'd have to do it now. Mirror Enforcer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that should be fine. Play a Blood Fountain. Grow the Glaze Fiend twice. Plus an Enforcer. So this is 12 damage. I'm 1 damage short. If this was a Galvanic Blast, we would have lethal, but it's not. So I need to play it more conservatively. So I'm going to swing with these 2. I'm going to leave back a blocker for the Snacker, and I'm going to bolt the Flame Breather. But that is so close. Bolt the Flame Breather. Hope we can survive. But they have a bolt on us, so that puts us to 6. Lava Dart would put us to 4. They don't Lava Dart. Okay. They have a Grab the Prize with a Snacker, so that puts us to 4. Lava Dart in the grave. So they just need a bolt, and we're dead. I guess Lava Dart on this, so they only need 2 damage. They don't have it, so we need to draw something here. Temur Battle Rage is good. That should do it. I guess if they have a Lava Dart and a bolt, they could have killed us. So that means there's no way they could kill this Enforcer, which means it should be lethal. So let's swing with the team, because they can block here, but Double Strike and Trample is gonna get them. All right, nice first game there. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, or maybe you want me to suffer through High Tide, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. So against Red Madness, Graveyard Hate's really the only thing we could bring in, and we have life gain that we want. We want removal for their guys. I guess Mirror Enforcers could be slow. I guess on the draw, maybe I don't care about the Lotus Petals as much, because the chance, I mean, in general here, like, Lotus Petal just feels bad because we're going to turbo out one of these guys and they're just going to bolt it, and it doesn't matter. So I think we just cut those for the spell bombs. I think that's decent. All right, one lander. Not a bad one lander, but not one we're going to keep either. The last one worked out, though. All right, here we go. Double refurb. We do have the turn 3 win, but that's just not going to be how we're going to win this one, because going to 2 and going all in on a creature that dies to a lava dart both seem bad. So I'm just going to get rid of that Souleater because it's not where we need to be. Vault of Whispers. Okay, so if I go Razor Trap, I can only play a Glaze Fiend turn 2. Probably what I want to play anyway. On the off chance it doesn't die, it'll get in for some damage. Yeah, we'll just do this. They have a Flame Breather, Mirror Enforcer. We have no way to remove that, so we're just sticking to our plan. And if it doesn't die, we can, you know, pump it up quite a bit. Next turn, swing for 1. A Faithless Looting. Discard a Fiery Temper and a Snacker. So this guy's probably dead. No, they go for the face. Oh, but they have a mountain. Okay. Dross Forge Bridge. So I play that. That's my 3rd artifact. So I can play both of these. I'm not probably using the Battle Rage this turn anyway, so I think we might as well. If they want to respond here, they can do so. But we also get to take 2 of their cards, put them down to 1. That's pretty good. They let this grow, so we're going to be able to hit in for 6, I think. Discard a Fire Blast and a Gutter Snipe. Kraken for 6, and the next turn I can at the very least do Furnace Enforcer to grow this to 4, Battle Rage for 8 damage and 12. If we find another cheap artifact, it could be lethal. Assuming they don't have like an End of Festivities, it should be pretty rough. They hit for 1. If you play in Furnace, you can play Enforcer too. No, because the Razor Trap Gorge is not an artifact land. So if I'd played that instead of the Bridge, I would have 1 mana left, and I would have 5 artifacts, so it would cost 2. So yeah, I mean, most of our lands are artifacts, but the Razor Trap Gorge kind of hiding there is not. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. If that were the case, then that would have been the better play, and I definitely could have missed that. Synth is pretty good, though. It's going to trigger the Fiend. It is going to make the Enforcer free after I play the Great Furnace. Cast in the Fire, 2 of these. Yep, I really wish I had a Toxin Analysis here to grow this in response, but that's pretty good from them. We're still in a good spot. We get a Furnace off the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now Enforcer's 2 mana. But they're at 1 card in hand. Faithless in the grave. Yeah, I think we're okay still. Flashback the Faithless Looting. So we take a damage. They get to grow, get back their Snacker. If I have 10 damage right here if they don't block the Enforcer. So if I just get like a bolt off the top, I can have lethal, which could be cool. Galvanic Blast does it too. So we're going to swing. Even if they can kill the refurb, as long as they don't block the Enforcer, this is lethal. Unless they Fire Blast the Enforcer. That would be pretty good. They ask if we have Temur Battle Rage. I don't know. I probably still do it, right? Because I get in for 5, 6, 7. Actually, if we don't do it, I could just crack the Synth. I think it's fine. Well, they made the correct read. Good for them. We're going to crack the Synth for another Synth. Well, I'll play that. See what we get off of that. A Vault of Whispers. If I play that, I can't hold up Galvanic Blast. Well, I'm really televising that I have a Galvanic Blast by wasting this, but I'd rather just have the ability to have it. Like, if they attack with a Snacker here, I have to assume maybe they have a way to, like, deal us enough damage, so I'd rather just, like, blast it down. So, or if they have, like, a Gutter Snipe and then go for a Faithless, like, I might want to respond to that. All right, now we're going to swing. And I think, they could still block here, but now the Temur Battle Rage should still be lethal because this is going to be an extra 7, so that's 11. And if they bolt one of these, they Fiery Temper this guy. Okay. Do they also have the bolt? Because if not, this has first strike. It's not even going to matter. Okay. They say GG. All right. We're able to get there against Red Madness. Pretty sweet. Round 2 here, we have another 1 lander. Oh, that's so close with 2 rapiers, but we got to mulligan that. Okay, we have a turn 2 win here on the play because we can play Great Furnace, Lotus Petal, Souleater, and if they don't have any interaction, then we can play Mountain, Temur Battle Rage, and just get in for 20. So we're obviously keeping this one, and I guess we get rid of the Refurb. Synth we can play. Refurb's better, but we might not even be able to cast it, so. All right, here's hoping they just play like a tap land. It's Gardens, I guess. Yeah. If they just have like Snuff Out or something, it's gonna be pretty brutal. Here's hoping that's not the case. Or even if it is Gardens, if they just start with a Garden. I guess actually that would be a blocker. Which means we could deal them 19, which is not quite lethal, and then we go to 2. Well, we're attacking. Maybe they don't block because they want to keep it for a Deadly Dispute. Dang. So if I just let it go and then they have a cast down, we're like super behind. If I put them to 1, I mean, I gotta just put them to 1, right? Well, we're just gonna go for it. I guess I could show some restraint. As long as I put them down to like 3 or 4, then a lightning bolt or something off the top is lethal. So this would be 15. So this would be 8, 17. So this puts them to 3, which means this with fire breathing is lethal next turn, plus a bolt is lethal. I think this is the right call because I could not kill them there, but it's pretty dang close. Hey Jason, you liking this build over the mono black one? Tithing Blade's pretty brutal. Mono black. What mono black one? Like mono black Kiln Fiend or something? Or like mono red? So I can synth here, but I can't play a lot off of it. But I can play a bolt, which is really what I'm just going for. I think I gotta just play the Gorge. Oh, right. I forgot that this came untapped. Okay, I shouldn't have played that. I was thinking it was going to be on... it's untapped because both of us are low enough. Since I can play now like a refurb or anything off of it, yeah, I should not have played that first. That was a mistake. Could be costly because I might not get a land or something, but until they gain any life, like a bolt is still just lethal. Galvanic Blast, not quite, because now it is, because we didn't have 3 artifacts, but now it will be. Spinning Darkness. They have a refurb. That's a little annoying. Defile the refurb. We get a Souleater. Oh, also because we're so low, we're just dead to this refurb in 2 turns. So if they kill this, they attack for 2, I have to draw a bolt, or I just die. But, okay, they have to leave it back. Okay, so if I attack, we trade. They get to flip this Tithing Blade. I mean, I gotta just play the synth. Another Souleater. Well, we'll swing with this one, which is lethal. They have to block it. Then I play another one. No reason to pump, since they're already trading. This is a wacky game. But the cool thing about this deck is that, I mean, we very well could lose this one pretty easily. They have a Pulse of Marasa to get the refurb. That's really annoying. The cool thing about this deck, though, is that we had the turn 2 win, almost. And even though we didn't manage to make it, we're not instantly dead. We're probably going to lose this one now. But in a normal Kiln Fiend, we'd be drawing, like, you know, pump spells that don't do anything if we don't have a creature. And so I kind of like that we have a little bit more options. Now, if I play the Rapier, they're high enough life total, but if they don't have a removal spell and they decide to attack us, theoretically, I could draw, like, another synth, trigger this into a Temur Battle Rage, and that would be lethal. Whereas my only alternative is crack this synth for a 2/2, and then there's no way to make that lethal next turn. So I think we play this. Alright, I doubt they have a counter spell, so I'm not sure why they're waiting for this to resolve. They're thinking about doing something before it resolves, I guess. Oh, my bad. I thought you were playing some spicy Rakdos Glaze Fiend. Oh, yeah. No, sorry. I might have misunderstood. Yeah, we are doing Rakdos Glaze Fiend with the Red Mage's Rapier. You can see the deck list on the Stream Decker. But yeah, I guess the mono black Glaze Fiend is what you were saying. I just blanked on that. Well, Cryptrats is going to kill us. Yeah, I am liking this version a little bit better. I think that there's a lot more explosive potential, but there's also a lot more sustainability, like with the card advantage from the synthesizer and refurbs and stuff like that. It's obviously refurbs you could play in mono black, but there's a lot of sweet stuff you can do. Well, that was a pretty unfortunate way that one went. I don't really have anything I need to sideboard in, but Toxin Analysis doesn't do too much for us. The life gain is pretty irrelevant. Death Touch doesn't matter too much. Rapier's sort of a backup Glaze Fiend. Yeah, I think they're of them very similarly, which is why I like it. This grows whenever you cast a non-creature spell. All of our non-creature artifacts are non-creature spells, so these trigger off of a lot of the same things, like the Blood Fountains, the Synths, Lotus Petals. They also both trigger off of playing a Rapier, if you have another one, which is kind of cool. And this can be equipped to any of your creatures. You can equip it to a Glaze Fiend, and then it grows doubly for your Blood Fountains and things like that, which is pretty sweet. Equipped Rapier to Fiend, and then, yep, exactly. And yeah, Temur Battle Rage just works really well. Like, if you have the proper setup, it's insane on Souleater, Glaze Fiend, or Rapier. So we have 12 creatures it's really good on. And then it's okay on Mirror Enforcer, and obviously if you really need it to deal 2 extra damage, it's fine on a refurb too. I guess Casting the Fire can clear a couple blockers. It can clear they were playing refurbs in their gardens. Okay, so their artifacts a little bit. Yeah, I think maybe just a couple of those. I mean, maybe Lotus Petal isn't worth it because even if we turbo something out, they might have the removal for it, but I think we'll keep it anyway. This is not very good. We gotta mulligan that. Well, no Lotus Petal, so this is a turn 3 with the Souleater. Seeing as turn 2 wasn't fast enough last time, I'm not really confident in this one. But I don't really think you mulligan a hand like this. We do Gorge, Vault, Souleater, then Battle Rage. I mean, yeah, this dies to snuff out, cast down, because it'll be turn 3. It's pretty rough against this opponent, but we'll give it a try. I think we just get rid of the Bolt. They got their dang plant token again. Souleater. This is 2 artifacts. Blood Fountain makes 4, 5. So probably can't play the Enforcer next turn. 5, unless I top deck an untapped artifact land. Play a Swamp, so they just have a Defile up. So if I go for it, they can make us waste all our life and then Defile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Double Blood Fountain still doesn't let us play the Enforcer. So I'm going to swing. They're not going to block to incentivize us to go for it. But I mean, I could try for it, but if they didn't have anything, they would have blocked, as they did last time. So very clearly they do have something, which I'm assuming is a Defile. It could be a Snuff Out. It could be a bunch of things. But we are not going to fall for it, as much as I want to fall for it. There's the Defile. Now they sack this, digging for some lands, it looks like. Oh, or they just Troublemaker Roof. Take away a Blood Fountain. Or the land. I guess that's fair. 4 artifacts. So I can't play Enforcer unless I get a land. We do, though. Definitely annoying. I think we're probably just not going to be able to get there. They have enough removal that it's going to be pretty tough. They have another Troublemaker Roof. Probably take away the Enforcer this time. Yep. And a Bog. Nice. Spell Bomb, sure. Well, we will pitch this to a Vault, or to a Blood Token rather. Theoretically, if they have no more card or no more removal, they just have like card advantage or whatever, and we top deck, I guess Refurb is the only thing we could play here, but yeah, Souleater. I think this one's going to be lost, probably. Fanatical Offering, the Spell Bomb. Map onto the Oof. Swing for 4. Glaze Fiend. I mean, Souleater is not doing enough right now. Glaze Fiend maybe can get there, although we've already used Blood Fountains. They have a Crypt Rats. Just wipes everything for 1, probably, and then sack it to bargain. Swing for 4. Razor Trip. Yeah, I mean, this is probably our worst matchup. Just tons of removal. Not going to be able to contend with that one very well, unfortunately. All right, here is match 3. We don't have a lot good here. The Lotus Petal's probably pretty useless because we're not turboing anything out. Refurb is slow, but we'll keep, I think. We just have decent mana. Seeding Landscape, so it could be a couple different things. I'm going to guess it's probably like Temur Fairies. We get a Glaze Fiend. Okay. I actually could play a turn 1 Glaze Fiend, but then turn 2, all I'm doing is like a Drossforge Bridge to pump it. So I might as well just save the Lotus Petal to pump it later, I think. To be honest, I think the Lotus Petals, well, it's cool when you can almost get a turn 2 win, as we did almost. But I think they probably aren't necessary. I think turning them into, maybe adding 1 more land, but turning them into something else that's a little better, probably worthwhile. Like, the Petals make for more explosive starts, which can be really good, but I think most games end up going more late game, and so I think Lotus Petal is going to be bad in most games. So that might be a change that I'd want to make for the next time, is just swapping those for something else. They cycle a Lorien for an island, and they have a Fairy Seer. So fairies indeed. 1 to the top. The fact that they're fairies is a little annoying for our flyers. Refurb's not bad. Next turn I can play Lotus Petal, double Refurb, hit for 6, and just have 2 of these guys down, which is kind of cool. I guess I could Lotus Petal and play Refurb right now, but then I'm wasting 4 potential power from this guy. In exchange, I can block the Fairy Seer, but I think if they spend cards like getting out a Ninja or something, I kind of like that. All right, so they pass. We get another Glaze Fiend. How are you finding the deck? How did the first league go? First league, we went 3-2, which was not bad at all. I did throw the first match pretty hard, and so it's possible we could have gotten a 4-1 if I did not do that. But 3-2 is still not bad at all. And yeah, I'm liking it pretty well. I think it's pretty sick. I kind of like Kiln Fiend decks already, and I love Glaze Fiend. But I like that this one actually has some sustainability, so you don't just lose on turn 3 if you don't win. So yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it. Here, I could play another Glaze Fiend, Lotus Petal Refurb, or I could play another Glaze Fiend, just play the Gorge and pass. Although if I play the Glaze Fiend, they could Spell Stutter it, which means if I wanted to prevent that, I'd need to have played the Lotus Petal and have a Galvanic Blast up. Yeah, I do want to get the Fiend down before the other stuff, though. I think we're going to cast a Lotus Petal. If they want to spell stutter this, I can live with that. Trigger here. Now I'll play the Glaze Fiend. Trigger this one. And of course, this could just die to a cast down. So do I want to leave up Galvanic Blast and Toxin, or do I just want to play another Refurb? I think I'd rather save the Refurbs for next turn when they can trigger both of these. And this way, if they do anything sketchy, I have the Galvanic Blast if I really want it. Or like I could block with the Glaze Fiend and like Toxin Analysis to grow it. That'd be kind of cool too. But I don't think I need to do that. So it looks like they might Ninja here. Yup. Luckily, these are both impervious to Snuff Out. So if they like replay the Fairy Seer, I don't have to worry about Cast Down or Snuff Out. If they don't replay it, then I probably know a Cast Down's coming. Yep. Temur Battle Rage is pretty good though. So I'm gonna cast a couple Refurbs to grow these. They cast down in response. Can't do anything about that. So trigger. I don't think I can get lethal this turn because I can Refurb again. This will be 4, and then I can Battle Rage for 8. Yeah, I'm like 1 damage short of being able to like Analysis for extra, but they discard an island and a Lorien. We know they have a Fairy Seer, so I could hit for 4. I could still like Toxin for 6, or I could Battle Rage for 8 damage if I really want. Putting him to 8 with 2 Refurbs is it's not bad. Plus a Galvanic Blast. Yeah, I kind of think doing the Battle Rage now while they're tapped out is going to be worthwhile. I wish it could hit for a little more, but 8 damage. Galvanic's half that. Refurb is the other half. They could have a Fairy Seer, obviously, but a Toxin Analysis on this would also be 2 damage. Well, that's brutal. That makes it so I wish I had left up the Toxin Analysis to grow the Galvanic or the Glaze Fiend. I guess maybe I should have played around that. I mean, Suffocating Fumes is pretty much a staple in Dimir fairies as a one of, so the fact that they had it is pretty unfortunate. They have the Fairy Seer. I mean, yeah, we're kind of like, we don't even have Metalcraft for this. I guess I could have it now if I Toxin their guy. Oh god, that's so brutal. Yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to cycle this. I feel like I might as well Galvanic Blast them while they don't have a Spell Stutter Sprite. I could shoot this, but I don't know. I don't think we're gonna win if we just like fight on the ground here. That might not be true. They're at 3, and if I had kept this off the field, they have just 1 ninja. No, but if they have another ninja, it's, yeah, ugh. And I'm probably going to crack this clue, but of course if we then find a Galvanic Blast, we're not actually going to have the Metalcraft yet, so that's fortunate. There's the Fairy Seer again. And Dimir Fairies is such a good deck. Try one to the top. Alright, we're going to crack this. Even if we found the Galvanic Blast, like a Spell Stutter, which I'm pretty sure they have, is going to be lethal. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess on the off chance they don't have a counterspell, I should wait because maybe I get a Galvanic Blast, they don't have a counterspell, and we could win. But I think that's extremely unlikely. There's an Augur, and there's a counterspell, in case they didn't already have one. The Bog to take away the Blood Fountain for a double Refurb was rough too. Yeah, obviously we didn't find a Blood Fountain, but yes, that was also unfortunate because that just made our draws even worse. I thought things were going really well for us, but then all of a sudden they were just pretty bad. I think Casting the Fire is fine for mono blue fairies. I don't think I need it here. Toxin, I guess, it would have been decent in that spot to grow the Fiend at instant speed, but it's against their 1 Suffocating Fumes. Maybe they bring in an Arms of Hadar and it's relevant, but I think that's just not generally what we want. I guess maybe some good news. They really only saw black creatures, so they might take out Snuff Outs, in which case maybe we can get them with a Souleater Temur Battle Rage combo. So I guess that's a reason to leave the Lotus Petals in. So then we just cut the Enforcers, I think. I mean, Enforcer's decent late game, but if I'm not cutting Enforcers, it's going to be like Rapiers or Glaze Fiends, which is kind of the main game plan. But yeah, I think we'll just cut a few of these. I mean, I guess this is fine. We have a Souleater, we have a lot of burn / removal. This deck looks like a lot of fun. It is. It is very cool. So play the bridge and pass. They have a Miscreant. Yep, we've seen this pop up a little bit in Dimir recently. Still probably just going to play the Souleater. I could just bolt that. I mean, I think it's fine. There's no way that they just like ninja the Deep Hours this turn, because then they would just die to a Souleater potentially. So they might cast down. They could Moon Circuit Hacker and play like a Aquifer and have a Snuff Out up. That's a possibility. Do you also do streams on YouTube? Or only videos? I just put the videos up on YouTube. I don't stream over there just because we already had Twitch set up. They're on 1 land. That's pretty good. I suppose if there was a lot of desire for me to stream on YouTube, I could. So Souleater can't really attack right now because I don't even have... We have 15 damage in hand. I mean, that's just pretty good. I could Synth, but I actually can't play anything for 1 mana, except for a 1 mana black spell, so like a Refurb, so that's not good. We gotta wait on that. Yeah, we're just gonna pass. If they continue not hitting lands and tapping out, and then we just get a Temur Battle Rage, we're just going to win. So that'll be cool. If they, out of desperation, go for a Ninja, I can just bolt it. We just have a lot of damage on them. Like, this could be a desperation Moonstruck Hacker. Yeah, we are going to not let that deal damage to us. So hopefully they didn't draw land, and yep, they got nothing. So Battle Rage off the top is lethal. I've been following you on YouTube for a while now, but I don't always have time to attend the live streams. Yeah, no, I understand. It can be tough for sure. They discard the Miscreant, which is interesting because that's one of the cards they can play and draws them a card. So they have to have like multiple Miscreants or something. We're going to start with a Synth. If I hit the Battle Rage, it's not quite lethal now, but then the Galvanic Blasts following up will be, and I can play just about anything else. Great Furnace is totally fine. This is 4 damage I'm trading, but I think I just take out the Miscreant, because if they have another one, which we saw them discard one, and we knew they had one, but they might not have another. I'm just going to save my life, though, for now. I'm just going to, like, hit them for 2, play a Refurb. I should have played the Refurb before I killed the Miscreant, because now if they still have a 3rd Miscreant, they probably can just discard that, but I don't know. Because of you, I fell in love with Esper Affinity. I'm very glad to hear that. I, too, have fallen in love with Esper Affinity. It's a fantastic, very fun deck. I cannot get enough. They discard a Hydroblast. All right. Fairy Seer. I mean, they did keep a risky 1-lander, obviously. They did have a good amount of card draw, and now they have the Seer. They scratch you to the top, so I'm going to assume they're both lands. Yep, I just Galvanic Blast this. It's now dealing us... Excuse me. It's letting us deal more damage than it even costs. Discard another Hydro. Pump. So this is 5. They go to 13. I could deal as much as 9 more, which means our Galvanic Blast is lethal. So are these. And they're a Fairies deck. They shouldn't have any damage for us. So I think I go for that. Like, there shouldn't be any way they can just deal us 2 damage out of nowhere. So this is 12. Yeah, we're going to put them to 4, which is dead to 2 Refurbs, this 1 creature, or our Galvanic. All right. We got that one. I mean, they were stuck on 1 land, so I'm not like... It's not a huge accomplishment, but we were able to get there. Pretty sweet. Tons of damage. Yeah. This deck has the potential to deal out so much damage so quick. All right. We could get a turn 1 Glaze Fiend. That doesn't seem very good. But I could just play it turn 2. You have some interaction. Blood Fountain to grow it a little bit. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. They don't have a 1-drop, which is pretty nice. Ooh. Considering... They're playing Miscreants and Fairy Seers and stuff. Pretty nice they don't have anything. Now they Brainstorm. Play an island. So they could be holding up like a Red Blast, but maybe an Annul or a Steel Sabotage, but these decks don't often run a lot of those. So I could Lotus Petal first to have the ability to Pyroblast, because I want to cast the Glaze Fiend here. It's really bad if Glaze Fiend gets countered. I just think the chances of that are really low, and I think we kind of need the damage pretty badly, because like next turn, after playing Glaze Fiend, if I Vault... Blood Fountain, Lotus Petal, that's +8. Temur Battle Rage is 16 damage with a Lightning Bolt. It's pretty good, but we miss out on 4 of that damage if I play the Petal now. I'm going to play the Glaze Fiend and just hope they don't have an Annul or a Steel Sabotage. Well, and then I got punished. Most Dimir Fairies lists that I've seen run between 0 and 2 Annuls. So I think it's a reasonable gambit to make. It was pretty high risk, high reward. We do get, I wouldn't say rewarded, but that's not a bad one to pick up after. We're certainly playing a Vault here. And then if they go for a Spell Stutter or something, I have Pyroblast and Lightning Bolt. So still bad that happened, but because we could have double Glaze Fiends attacking in a turn. So do I want to Pyroblast? I kind of need the Pyroblast to make sure the Temur Battle Rage resolves. So I think I'm going to bolt this. And I could play the Lotus Petal to have Pyroblast up now, but at this point, if they're going to get rid of it, it's probably with a cast down, so that doesn't really matter. They're going to pass 3 cards available. Well, I'm going to Lotus Petal. If I Blood Fountain, then I feel like I have to Battle Rage, because otherwise I'm just wasting 6 damage. If I Battle Rage, then I only have a Pyroblast up. So if they have 2 counter spells here, or Cast Down, it's really bad. They have so much mana up. I mean, a Cast Down's pretty devastating regardless. I'm going to play the Blood Fountain, see if they want to, like, fight over this. They don't. Well, we're attacking regardless, because I could just hold up the Blood Fountain to, like, buy back both Glaze Fiends. Not this turn, but, like, they don't even block. 6 damage, or I could try to make it 12. They don't block. I feel like, I guess if they block, then I might just accept that. Whereas now they want me to cast a Battle Rage. I'm trying to think if they're trying to incentivize me to do something or not. I'm going to cast the Battle Rage. If they have the cast down, we're kind of screwed either way. If they have a counter spell for this, I might just let that go. That's probably fine. Hydroblast, yeah. So I could Pyro back, but then if they Spell Stutter, it's pretty bad. I think that's fine. We still hit for 6. I also don't love... if I don't have to, I don't want to burn this Lotus Petal, because currently it's the only way that I can crack the Blood Fountain. Obviously, I might just find a land, but it could be a couple turns until I find a land, in which case maybe I want to buy back the Glaze Fiend earlier than that. They're going to swing for 1. Have a landscape, so 2 cards left, and pass. Another Glaze Fiend. Wow. I mean, I think I just play that. I have some interaction. This grows this. We can swing for 2. What do you think about the new collections and new additions to Paupers? Spider-Man promised a lot of legendary creatures, at least that's what the players expect, but in the end, they're not really seeing much game. Just like, what are my general thoughts on like Spider-Man and stuff? Or like Spider-Man being in Pauper? Because like, well, Bog's annoying, but we actually have 2 Glaze Fiends here to get back if they die, so that's not the end of the world. I think Spider-Man was not a very good set. I think it was very poorly implemented, and I think that's pretty obvious to a lot of people. I will say I didn't really expect, like, the prospect of Legends being introduced to the format, I think is fine. And, you know, they could have made an impact, but they, once I saw what they were, I didn't expect any of them to really do much. Sorry, ignore that deck from Stream Elements. Just check the Stream Decker on the screen. You should have the list there. I haven't updated the Stream Elements, so I apologize. Yeah, so I didn't really expect them to make an impact once we saw the cards. I don't think any of them look very good. The best one is like a worse Kitchen Imp. So anyway, so there's some of my thoughts on that. So that's not what they expect. Yeah, I don't know. If there's something more specific that I didn't address that you wanted me to, just let me know, and I would be happy to. So I could bolt this, but honestly, I'm either not getting in for damage either way, or I get an artifact and I can get past this anyway, so I think it's just fine. Red Mage's Rapier's a good draw. That'll trigger both of these. I have 2 ways to fight over it, and they only have 2 cards. I certainly will cash in the Lotus Petal if I need to. And this is just another threat, which is pretty nice. So now I get to attack for 4. We're diverse enough with our creatures with 3 different ones that even if they have a cast down or something, we're not fully blown out. They've been getting some unlucky draws, to be fair, but all right, put them to 8. Oh no, they do have a cast down. Okay, that's fine. Put them to 10 then, and we'll pass. If they attack with the Miscreant, I have to assume that probably means they have a Ninja coming. Draw another island. So if they do that, I probably want to kill the Miscreant, although I might just kill the Ninja. Now there's a reason that I do want to kill this to let the hero attack, but I'd rather do it on my own turn so that the hero gets a trigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, well, Enforcer triggers the Glaze Fiend, and they have a counterspell. We'll certainly send one of these off on this. I guess I should use the one that needs a target, because this could actually be relevant. So trigger this. So now I'm getting in for more damage with the hero token if I bolt this, so I might as well. Now this is 7, and I could Pyroblast whatever, and I could get in for 9, but it's not lethal, so I might as well just wait. But all right, we end up winning the match against Temur Fairies, even though we had that brutal first game. So 2-1. I thought EOE was better for Pauper than Spider-Man, for example, but Wizards doesn't really care that much about Pauper, so we live on scraps. I mean, yes and no. Wizards doesn't care about Pauper, which is a good thing, because if you see how they, oh, could I blast the fairy and bolt them? Yes, and that would have dealt them lethal. Yep, that would have been smarter. We knew they had no cards, so there's no reason not to. That was just a waste of 3 damage on them. Yeah, good point. I should have caught that. But yeah, Wizards doesn't care about Pauper, but if they did care about Pauper, then they would be making things for Pauper like they do with Commander, like they do with really just Commander. And I can't say I've loved most of the stuff they've done intentionally for Commander over the last couple of years, so I'm very okay with them not trying to make stuff specifically for Pauper. Please know, design for Pauper cards. MH3 and the like have done enough. Yeah, that's the other thing, is they're not designing for Pauper, and yet MH3 was still an overturning of everything about the format, basically. Like, I need to make a video about this at some point or something, but I made a spreadsheet over every single card that is playable in Pauper. Like, every card that's a staple, every card that's, you know, not really a staple, but it's seen in a deck or two, and then every card that's banned. And Modern Horizons 3 had the most cards playable in Pauper out of any set ever. It had like 30, and the next highest set was like 15 or something. So that's when they're not designing for Pauper. So I really don't think we need them to start doing that. All right, we're against elves or walls or something. I could just blast this. I think I can probably save those for better targets. So I'm probably just playing the Glaze Fiend here because that's going to maximize my damage. I don't have the most output of damage for the Glaze Fiend currently, but if I draw like a Vault of Whispers, then I refurb, then I could Enforcer, or I could even Toxin, then Enforcer. I could hit for 8. That'd be pretty good. And they're on 1 land, which is pretty good for us. Priest of Titania. So on 1 land, I mean, certainly I'm killing the Priest here. On 1 land, there's actually maybe some incentive to kill the Ranger, too, because it is doubling their mana. Would love a land here. Another Bolt isn't bad. I could double Bolt, but that doesn't let us get in for any damage, which is maybe fine. Also, if I just kill this and they have like a Masked Vandal, it could be kind of annoying. I kind of think I do, like, I feel like most times I do this, they then just, I'll hit for 0. They then just like top deck the forest right after I kill the Quarian Ranger because they only had 1 forest. But if they don't top deck the forest, then, you know, they have to play a 1-drop and it's pretty good for us. Or maybe they don't even have another 1-drop. Although in Elves, I'm expecting them to probably have a couple more. Souleater's pretty good. Well, this is more mana efficient and gives us a creature that can deal potentially 10 damage next turn. So I think we just do this. I mean, we're in a pretty good spot, I will say. Also going back to what you were saying, Bruno, about I thought UE was better for Pauper. Yeah, I think UE was pretty close to what I want, like pretty perfect for a set. As far as Pauper, like a couple cards that are pretty good. I wouldn't say like warped the format. Cryogen Relic. Everyone thought it was going to be crazy busted because of the fact that it looks like a better Ichor Wellspring. It ends up being fine. It made 1 new deck, and it has made a little bit of impact in Familiars and Tron and stuff like that. But it hasn't wildly warped the format around it. And yeah, so there's that. Perigee Beckoner has made a different and maybe a little better, but up to, depending on who you ask, version of Black Sack, and that's kind of cool. Temporal Intervention has seen some play in some decks. Ilvoy Galeblade a little bit better in Mono Blue Fairies. Cryo Shatter, but like nothing, unless I'm missing a card, nothing that like really warps the format, but a lot of good solid cards for like 1 deck or something. All right, they played this just as a blocker so that they would not die, which is fair. I think I just play the Rapier. You have 4, so I could play a Refurb. I can't play the Enforcer no matter what, so yeah, we're just gonna play the Rapier. They're pretty much forced to block. Well, now that I tapped out, I guess they're not forced to block the Souleater, but I can definitely deal them a bunch of damage if they don't. They don't block, so fine. If we had a Temur Battle Rage, we already have other good targets. I guess it's best on this. I guess we'll just leave it at 3 damage there, and then we'll pass. Now they have Aquarian. They can untap that or bounce the forest and play another 1-drop if they want. Looks like they don't even have another 1-drop they want to play. Great Furnace. There we go. So that's going to trigger this. That's 6. So now I can Refurb, Enforcer. I guess Toxin grows both of these, but I'd rather play the Refurb because it attacks as well. And the Enforcer, I could Galvanic Blast this because it can currently trade with one of these. This could be 10 damage, so that's lethal, so they'd have to block here. Yeah, so I think I do just shoot this. It also just hinders their mana more. I don't think there's any way they can really get out of this. But they have to block here or they're going to die. They block the Glaze Fiend. Oh, I guess that's fair, because I can pump this 10, 11. Okay, you know what? They can do that. That's fine. I'm still just going to pump this several times. Put him to 9. That'd be 6. I think I'd like to put him to 4 so that Enforcer's lethal. 1 trigger of a Glaze Fiend plus a Refurb's lethal with the Toxin analysis. So, alright. Well, this is what the Krarks are for. Obviously, the 1-lander is pretty good for us no matter what, but Cast of the Fire and Krark can be pretty good here. We're not taking out any other removal. On the draw, I don't think we... In general in this match, I don't think we're going for this because the chances they just have a blocker are basically 100. I think Mere Enforcers are probably not necessary either. Toxin's pretty decent with the Krark, so we're going to keep those. Yeah. The Mere Enforcers just get chumped. They're not as explosive. Alright. Double Toxin. Blood Fountain. We have a million ways to trigger the Glaze Fiends, although the Glaze Fiends are 2 mana. Or, oh, I was thinking this Refurb was a Glaze Fiend. There's only one of them then. Yeah, no, we're not keeping that. No interaction, no guaranteed life, or land drop. I mean, this one's pretty good. All interaction, including a Krark. We might be getting rid of the Glaze Fiend here and just trying to interact. Well, I guess probably since I have the Krark, I don't need the Cast of the Fire. 2 lands that are not artifacts is pretty unfortunate. Cast of the Fire is pretty good. Maybe we actually get rid of Bolt, since this can probably kill 2 things we care about anyway. I guess it doesn't kill Timber Watch Elf. Plus, it's just earlier. Like, if they play a Priest on turn 2, and I have a tap land, I have to kill it. I don't really want to get rid of any of our removal. I'm going to get rid of the Glaze Fiend. It doesn't look that great here. Obviously, we need a win con, but if we can just stop them long enough and we can find a couple refurbs or something, we'll be fine. What would be your deck choice for a tournament with mainly Red Burn Madness and Blue Terror? Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, for the decks that I play the most, both Black Sack and Esper Affinity have pretty decent matchups against Terror, but Esper's not great against Madness. Honestly, I think Black Sack's pretty decent against Madness, to be fair. Bogles is a suggestion. Bogles destroys mono red usually, and yeah, pretty good against Terror too. Always Bogles versus anything. Well, I don't know if I'd do it into Gardens or a bunch of decks that have Edicts, but yeah, if those are the two main decks you're anticipating, I think Bogles isn't unreasonable. They don't even have a 1-drop. Nice. What else is good against Redburn? White Weenie is pretty decent against Redburn and Madness because it has a lot of life gain. I guess less so against Madness because the blockers isn't as relevant, but it has a good amount of life gain. Got lots of sideboard Prismatic Strands, and you have Graveyard Hate for Terrors. You have a little bit of removal. You have a lot of chump blockers. Yeah, I think that's another good one. Great Furnace. I think I'm just going to bolt this, play a Gorge. Yeah, no problem. I'm sure there's a couple others that are good against both of those, but those are definitely some suggestions that seem decent. Land Grant. Haunted Mire. Okay, so I did think this before, but I didn't say it. It's possible it's Spy Elves because they have Haunted Mire, although usually they don't play that because they can't fetch it with basic stuff. Priest of Titanium. I don't know. Interesting. For now, I could Synth, or I could just Red Mage's Rapier. I think that's, and hold up a Bolt, or play a Krark. Yeah, I think we're just going to play the Rapier. I don't want to run out the Krark, because I'd rather they play a bunch of creatures first, especially I don't want to have to use it with the Rapier out. Glint Blade with life gain. Yeah, that's annoying. That was another thought that I had a little bit. Esper maybe struggles a little bit more with the faster decks, but just white-black, you have a lot of life gain. You have, you of course have your Edicts with Tithing Blade, and you have Graveyard Hate with Raven Charm and stuff like that, so that's pretty good against Terror. Yeah, it seems alright to me. And a Masked Vandal. Well, another Masked Vandal for our Great Furnace. That's so rude. Okay. I mean, they don't look to be doing anything scary, but now they've sufficiently slowed us down. I guess I just Souleater, or I could Synth looking for a land. Since I have another reasonable play, I guess I just do this. And they just have the Spy with 3 creatures. They only have 4 lands in their deck. Nope, they have a 5th, then it was 3 cards down. That's pretty lucky for us. Okay, they attack with a Vandal. I'm going to take 1. Okay, so it is Spy. That might be their last land, I have to assume, which means I should hold up Bolt and play Krark. I guess Krark can only wipe for 1 damage right now with this guy. I can also just attack. They're going to block. So that's 1 creature down, and then I hold up Bolt and Cast of the Fire. Yeah, it's not great, but in case they have it, like the reason they would have run out of Spy there is they're desperate. Maybe they have another Spy or something, and so this looks decent. So my way to get around that is to kill their creatures. So let's Synth, looking for a land. We get a Refurb. I can't even play that, but I wouldn't anyway because I want to hold up this Bolt. So if they just slam a Spy and it is their last land, then I can Bolt a Spy and they shouldn't be able to have enough for the Dread Return, ideally. Priest of Titania, okay. I'd probably just Bolt the Spy here, because again, we're trying to keep their creatures low. Our mana's pinched, and it doesn't die to a Krark. So I think I just shoot this. That's an artifact land, so I could play that, play a Rapier, then we're tapped out if they do have the Spy, so that's not good. I could attack with the hero token, and if they block here, then I could Krark, sack Bridge, and Synth, wipe these away. It's not terrible. Then next turn I can Rapier, maybe get there. I mean, if they don't block, then I can't Krark to wipe this way anyway. So then I probably just hold up the Cast of the Fire, or just cast the Priest away. They're thinking about it. I mean, it's just 1 damage for them to take, so they probably should just take it, but especially because I'm clearly attacking with the intention of, getting them in a trap or something. They are really not sure what to do here. I guess that's fair. All right, they take the damage. And so I need to, to be safe, I need to either Krark or Cast in the Fire here. This makes 2 mana, which is a lot, so maybe I just want to cast. Yeah, I think that's worth it. Play a Bridge and pass. I suppose if they get a Quarian Ranger, they can play that, bounce the Forest, replay it, and then Spy. So this way we could die to that. I mean, I'm probably running out the Krark next turn if we don't draw anything relevant. They have a Nyxborn Hydra as a 3/4. Sure. Attack for 1. Another Krark. Well, I'm going to play the Rapier, and I'm going to play a Krark. And that's about it. Pretty awkward that if we use Krark, we wipe away all our hero tokens, but this is really just here as a contingency for if they find a Spy. There's a Winding Way. They do find a Spy, and a Giant. Quarian Ranger, Arbor Elf. Toxin Analysis would be decent to draw, because that could just wipe all these away. If they swing with the Hydra, I could block here, and I could sacrifice all 3 of these artifacts now, wipe the whole board. But we lose our draw from the synth. I lose a land. I lose my whole board. It's probably not worth it. Although 1, 2, 3. If I get low enough, they could also just like hardcast a giant. We're not quite there yet, though. I'll just take it. They're gonna untap the Hydra, replay the Forest, cast into the Fire. I mean, lets me take out these 2 without using the Krark. I guess now I could attack with both of these. If they block here, cast into the Fire would make this trade, and this. Yeah, I don't know. I think I attack. We pretty much have to wipe some of these away with the Krark or the cast in the Fire here anyway, so they block there. So this means I can keep around 1 artifact, because I can cast these 2 into the Fire. Triggers this, so these will trade. They take 1, and then I can sack 2 artifacts to wipe these away. It might as well be the synth, and I guess it's got to be the Rapier. I think I'd rather have the land. Well, let's see what we get off the synth before we decide. It's a mountain. That almost makes me want to just sack the bridge. Yep, let's do that. Wipe these away, play this, and I'm going to play the Krark. I mean, ideally they just have like a bunch of spies or like Generous Sense they can't cycle anymore, and they can't cast. There's Aquarian Ranger. Replay the Forest, and they're gonna spy. I assume they're gonna spy me. Yep, because they don't have the artifact or the creatures. Plus, I have the Krark to interrupt one of them. They mill a couple cards. We get a Great Furnace. Well, I'll play that. And I'll pass. Swing for 2. There's the Findhorn Elves. Synth would be one of our better draws. Glaze Fiend, not so much. Here they now have 6 mana, which means they could start playing Generous Sense, so it's possible I should have just wiped these away before that was a possibility. I guess they could actually tap for 7 with this untapping the Elves, which would allow them to cast the Giant, which pings for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they attack for 2. So in response to them untapping here, I have to sacrifice a Great Furnace to wipe these away. They can still play a 6-drop, so like I said, I probably should have done this on our own turn, but this does prevent them from casting the Giant. They have a Generous Ent. Swing for 2. I think this one's probably just going to be over, unfortunately. Temur Battle Rage is nowhere near enough, so that's going to be that. I did bring in exclusively Elves stuff, because I thought that might be what they were, so it's possible I should bring in some Spell Bombs. Of course, they have Masked Vandals, which are pretty annoying. I guess we probably cut a few of the Cast in the Fires then, just because they don't kill... I mean, they still kill elves. Maybe the Toxin Analysis isn't quite as necessary as these. I don't know. Did you play the challenge today? No, I didn't. Usually, this one's not going to work. Usually if I play a challenge, it's on Sunday. The challenge on Friday starts at my time, like 9 o'clock a.m., so it's not super early, but I'm usually doing some other stuff. But yeah, I did not participate in that one. Well, this is not very good either. I think we got a good end of 5. We actually have some lands. We have some of these. All right, we're going to keep and turn to a Glaze Fiend. We have to keep at least one piece of interaction. I think we get rid of the Rapier because it gets blocked too easily, and I want to keep the Synth. I guess I get rid of the Bolt. I could get rid of the Cast in the Fire. Obviously, I generally think if you are mulliganing low, you should try to keep the cards that have the most upside, and Cast in the Fire has the ability to kill 2 creatures rather than just 1, so that's why I kept it. Land Grant. There's a forest. They have a Findhorn Elves. They have another Land Grant. So even if I kill this, they can still Land Grant and then Winding Way, which is all they can really do either way, so there's no reason to shoot it now. We get our Glaze Fiends going. A second one could be pretty good. It could be a little slow, but if it's not, maybe we can get there. They Land Grant again, revealing... Play that. Oh my god. They Land Grant again. I'm just trying to keep straight what they have. Alright, they have 2 Winding Ways, Avenging Hunter, Lotless Giant, Generous Ent, and a forest here, Haunted Mire. So they can Winding Way now, which they do. They could have just played this Haunted Mire this turn, which feels weird. They find an Arbor Elf, 2 Timberwatch Elves, and a Lead the Stampede, which goes to the grave. They play the Arbor Elf. I guess that's fair. So here's the upside, is I get to cast these both into the fire. However, I really want to get down this Glaze Fiend. If I cast these both, though, all they have is a Winding Way and a Mire. That's pretty decent. Yeah, I gotta cast them into the fire. It slows them down a good amount. It slows us down, too, though. We get to hit for 0. They cast a Winding Way, find a Spy, Ranger, and an Arbor Elf, play the Mire. They gotta discard 2 cards. It's going to be the Giant and something else. No, it was double Timberwatch Elf. Interesting. Blood Fountain's not bad. I think next turn they're going to have blockers with this. Yeah, we just Glaze Fiend here. Next turn we can hit for 12 with the Blood Fountain and the Synth. I mean, if we're super lucky, we hit an artifact land with the synth, and then we also find like another blood fountain that could be lethal, but even just the land would be decent. They didn't hit any lands when they were doing that stuff, so Arbor Elf, they have 2 more lands in their deck. Play the Ranger, cycle the Generous Scent. Well, we probably don't have lethal here, and if we don't find a removal, then they can just spy and we'll lose. Temur Battle Rage is not gonna do it because I can't pump these up because I don't have enough mana, as well as Rage. If I Blood Fountain, I can hit for 8. I feel like I have to just leave up a red mana for when they spy to bluff a Lightning Bolt, but then if they just have another creature they can play, which chances are pretty high, then I can't really bluff anything. If I synth, these trigger, I find an artifact land, trigger, we can deal 16. That's not enough. Yeah, I mean, they have us dead with the spy, we just have to make them hesitate. So I guess I just leave up red mana. Kind of the best we got. Swing for 8 and pass. They lead the Stampede, finds Llanowar Elves, Arbor Elf, 2 Sagu Wildlings. Okay, none of that does much. I mean, they can play a couple more guys. They shouldn't be able to play another creature and a spy this turn, which means they can play a couple more guys, be prepared for next turn. And we need to draw really well. Like, I'm going to Blood Token away this Souleater, but if we get, like, Great Furnace so that I can have 2 red sources and it triggers these, and then I synth and then I Battle Rage, that would be lethal. Although if they still just play a spy as a blocker, that could change things. I mean, if they have a Masked Vandal they drew and we don't know about, that would be pretty rough. Or maybe because they're worried about it, they'll just go for the spy anyway. That'd be kind of unfortunate since we don't actually have a way to interact. But if they are worried that we can kill them next turn, which is not unreasonable, then they might just go for it because they think it's the only way they can win, which would suck because they will win. And they're casting it. I guess we'll make them hesitate here, but there's no reason they're going to cast it. Oh, they do target us. Okay. Because that's just a blocker for a Glaze Fiend. We discarded Drawsforge Bridge off the top. Okay. We have a shot. Then swing with the Ranger. Because if we get a Great Furnace, well, might as well get rid of the Souleater. It's not doing us any good. Vault of Whispers, but that doesn't let us cast the Battle Rage and this synth. Discard the Giant now. Okay, casting the Fire's not terrible, because it could take these away. Okay, this is rough, because I can Vault of Whispers, attack for 2, and then if I get rid of both of these, even if they have another spy in hand, they can't win here. So they have to take another turn to just deploy some of these guys. But then I'm still in the same boat. I have another draw to find a red source. Oh, I guess I could cast in the fire the spy if they block, and like Arbor Elf. That lets them have a 5th mana here, which could be annoying because they could play a wildling. Ugh, I mean, we're playing this for sure. We're attacking for sure. I guess they could take it because they think we wouldn't have a way to do enough damage instant speed, but that seems risky, although it would not be poor for them here. They do just take it. That's crazy to me. I thought that was the reason to play in this, but I guess since we didn't end up presenting enough, we don't have the Toxin and the Battle Rage, so I could just deal 2 more. That's not going to be enough, so we're going to deal them 4. And then, yeah, I'm going to cast on the fire these 2. I mean, somehow we're not dead yet. Yeah, I was worried about that. Masked Vandal, taking out a Glaze Fiend. If I still hit Great Furnace into something off the synth for like 1 mana, like a Blood Fountain, with the Battle Rage, I could get there. But if not, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the end of the line. Come on, Great Furnace. Okay, Spell Bomb keeps us alive, assuming they don't have another Vandal. Although we know 3 of their cards. They would have to have another Vandal. I'm pretty sure, actually, unless these both reveal this, and it's the same card, which happens sometimes. Reveals... oh, gosh. Well, I don't know. Well, we're going to start with this, because I could just play the Spell Bomb. They block. Battle Rage isn't enough. Okay, if we hit a Great Furnace here, we win. That's a Galvanic Blast that I can't play. That's unfortunate. Well, we have a Spell Bomb. We can hit for 4, and they block. Really annoying losing that Galvanic Blast, but all I have is the Spell Bomb up. I guess I could have cracked it right there, and no, if I found a Great Furnace, it would present lethal, but I wouldn't have the Battle Rage. They have the Vandal, so I guess, do they have another spy is the question. Oh, they just go for the Fiend. But I need the Fiend to win, so I still have to just crack the Spell Bomb. And then if they have like a Generous Scent or something in response, it's pretty bad, but I think I just need to crack this. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. This doesn't let them play a Wildling or anything. Yeah, here's hoping this works. Blood Fountain, exile their graveyard. Alright, they didn't have anything else. If they don't have a flyer now, Blood Fountain plus Temur Battle Rage is lethal. Or if they don't have another, I guess they could have a spy. If they don't have a spy, if we don't die here, I think we win. But it looks like they have the spy, because they always have the... Why would they not just target the Spell Bomb to ensure that they win here? They targeted this? What if I didn't take the bait? That's crazy. Oh, and they still had a land in there. Oh my gosh, wait. They hit a Dread Return, but they didn't hit a Lotless Giant? We exiled one, but I assume they were playing two, but I guess the last one is in the bottom 9. Oh my gosh, so we can still win? Well, that would be why, I guess. This is a crazy match. I mean, they hit the Dread Return, so I guess they can Dread Return for a Generous Ant. Ugh, yeah. Oh wait, they have the Lotless Giant. What am I? No, this is Exile. Okay, I'm getting these confused. Oh, they Dread Return for a Spy, and they have another Dread Return and a Giant left. Stop opening. And they have 3 creatures exactly. Well, that's pretty annoying. Yep, Dread Return and a Giant. That was very up and down. Pretty frustrating. Still, okay, they really... Why did they not just target my spell bomb? I'm so annoyed by that. I mean, obviously, if we got rid of our Glaze Fiend, we probably would have lost anyway, which is why I cracked it, but, like, that's just insane way to play. All right, well, we have one more match to see if we can get a positive record here. No one wants to fight me for my last match, unfortunately. Alright, here we are. Match 5. No lands here. 1 land here. We definitely are a low to the ground deck that wants a small number of lands, but I do think I'd probably want to go up to 19. We're just mulliganing too much for it to be beneficial, I think. Get rid of the Gorge, get rid of just one of the Rapiers, I think. They pair up nicely together, like decently. Yeah. But if I get rid of the Temur Battle Rage, then I don't have any way to pump them. I could get rid of the Refurb. Obviously Refurb's just crazy good, but maybe it's just not the play here and we try to go all in on these guys. I think we'll try that and see how it goes. It's against every fiber of my being to get rid of a Refurb, but I don't know. Seems like we got to go all in on this plan maybe. Lotus Petal. Well, that could trigger these both in a couple turns. Bajuka Bog could be Gardens, could be Dimir Fairies. There's some options. Something Dimir, for sure. Oh, Sultai. Tangled Islet. Okay. In that case, Sultai Fairies, maybe. That's kind of a deck that's popped in and out a little bit. I could Lotus Petal here, but then I don't trigger them both. Plus, we want to probably trigger it on the turn that we Battle Rage. It could be worse against removal, but they don't have Snuff Out potential yet. And if they just leave up mana for a cast down, then I'll probably just play around that. Explore. Okay. Maybe this is just some strange control deck. Thornwood Falls. Maybe not even control, just like ramp. Got one more land drop. Growth Chamber. I mean, I guess this could just be Fog, potentially. With a good draw, we could just win here. Another Lotus Petal. So that's 1, 2, 3 triggers. So these would be 7. So that should just be lethal, because this is 21 damage. We're getting very little value out of these Lotus Petals, but I think it's going to be enough anyway. They're tapped out, so shouldn't be a Fog here. Hit for 21. All right. Nice first game there. I'm kind of assuming Fog. Clearly something blue, but blue-green with a bunch of tap lands and Explore. The Bog threw me off because it was the first land, but I wouldn't be surprised if like a blue-green Fog deck played a one-of Bog. Part of me wants to bring in Red Blasts, but the Fog is really the only things I would care about countering. I guess maybe they have counter spells. I think Lotus Petal's probably too weak because, especially on the draw, we could turbo something out, but then if they just hold up 1 Fog, it doesn't really matter. And honestly, bolts probably aren't very good either. Or Toxin Analysis has to be worse than a bolt, probably. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. If they are Fog, then Moment's Peace. It's possible Spell Bomb would be worth bringing in 2 over some Lightning Bolts. For now, we'll just do this. This hand looks pretty solid. Glaze Fiends are going to be a force to be reckoned with, assuming we don't get our lands blown up. And then Refurbs are pretty good after that. If I'm worried about my lands getting blown up, I probably should not have played the black land first. I should have played one of the red ones, just in case they, like, Deglamor here. So that was a mistake. Here's a Growth Chamber. Battle Rage. Alright. I mean, I could just Souleater, and if they tap out, I have lethal next turn. Oh, it's so close, because we only have 1 black mana, so by doing that, if it doesn't work out, we just have so many black spells I can't cast very quickly. And if they just hold up a single green mana, I can't go for it. The chances are so high. I think I'm just going to Glaze Fiend. We want to go for, unless I can get them with that lethal this turn, I want to go for sustainable damage anyway, which this is Thornwood Falls. Oh, also, because they've gained a couple life, it's actually not lethal with the Soul Eater, so that's something to keep in mind. Bridge is a good draw, so we're just going to Glaze Fiend, Bridge. So now we have double black. They might counter this, I guess. Both of our lands are artifact lands, and I want to get the black mana, so there's no reason to not play the bridge here. Hit for 4. Growth Spiral. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely Fog. We haven't seen a Fog yet, but we've seen all the other cards that go in this deck. So a fun one to end off the league. Foretell. So they have Tangle or Moment's Peace available. but I can pump these up for 8, make it 16 damage, and if they tangle, I still have Souleater and double refurb to attack next turn. That's pretty good. There's a blue blast. We also get to take a couple cards. There's another blue blast. Luckily, our deck is, like, blue blast is still a good card to bring in, but our deck plays not that many red spells. I think we're at like 16 or something with the rapiers, the battle rages, and then the bolts and stuff. So, oh, and synth. But we're somewhat we're not super susceptible to a blue blast is nice. All right, we're attacking for 16. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna bring out a moment's peace. Play the bowl, the multiverse. Galvanic Blast. I will play a bridge. I'm going to attack with these. So if I'm not attacking with everything, because if they have a tangle, it would tap them all down, or a respite, it would gain life for each one. Might as well not give them quite as much value. There's a tangle, for example. They also should have probably waited until I tried to pump this Souleater, because I was going to. At least a little bit. But it does tap up down all of our guys that can deal a lot. The reason I attack that way, though, is because the Glaze Fiends are 0 power if I don't play anything, so I just won't play anything that grows them. That's kind of annoying, and then I don't have a Pyroblast for it. So these guys are basically 0 power, so they kind of just tap down this one, because I'll just save the artifacts for this for the next turn, so then I'm attacking for 4. Maybe I should have just attacked with these 4, and then I could attack with the Souleater, which is by itself a lot more powerful. That could have been a little smarter. Another Glaze Fiend, but we're swinging for 4 here. Play the Glaze Fiend. It's honestly possible I should have just waited on this. We don't have another way to trigger them, so I could have waited until I could actually trigger the other Glaze Fiends for damage. I might have just wasted that. I don't know. This is probably going to be an impossible match for us to really play against unless we can get, I don't know. I mean, Pyroblasts don't even counter the Fogs, which is the ones we really need to counter, so. Alright, Great Furnace, I'm going to save that for next turn with these guys, so let's just swing with these 3. This time they let us pump some stuff into it, which I might as well. I'm not casting either of these. Could also pump some life into it, but I don't think that's necessary. I mean, I could put it to 9 damage. Now they cast the Moment's Peace. They really should wait a little longer, because I was going to pump it again. They can make me waste more mana, which isn't super relevant, but could be at some point if I had like a 2-drop to play here. Alright, I'm going to play this Great Furnace, grow these guys, and this time I am going to swing with everything except for the Souleater. So this is 10 if they want to take it. If they don't, then, like if they tangle or whatever, the next turn I can attack with the Souleater by itself. They just have regular old Fog. Galvanic Blast, theoretically, we can get enough burn to burn them down if we get them a little lower and we draw a bunch. They probably play some Weather the Storms, so playing around that is important. If possible. Explore. And I don't have a way to pump the Glaze Fiends this time, so for that reason I'm just going to swing with the Souleater. And I probably just try to make it lethal so that they use a Fog. If I Battle Rage here, then it would be 14. Yeah, they finally waited this time. Now is the time that they should Fog. Arcane Denial. Counterspell. Okay. If that means they're not going to Fog, I could deal 5 more, put them to 4. They could just have a Weather the Storm, but I think our best bet is to, like, they're not even trying to deal us damage, they're trying to mill us out. So I think my best bet is to try to deal as much as possible, and if they take it, go to 4, then I have Galvanic Blast and Bolt. Maybe we can get them in there at some point. Also, we are drawing 2 cards off Arcane Denial. Maybe we draw some more burn, or they just Fog now, and we wasted all of that resource, but they're down to 4. Yep, they do have the Weather. And another one, why not? I was probably supposed to play this Razor Trap Gorge. Well, we have lands aplenty. Pass. We have another Battle Rage. Pump this. I don't think I Battle Rage this turn because it wouldn't be lethal anyway, so I think we just try to deal them 11. Pass. Bajuka Bog. Dross Forge Bridge can grow these guys. So I'll play that. If they take it all, they would go to 4, which again is pretty close to lethal. Well, we're just going to pass. They could have a counterspell, or they could have a Weather the Storm. They scry 1 here. I'm going to go for the Galvanic Blast. I assume they'll have a counterspell or a Weather. Yup, there's a Blue Blast. Bolt isn't quite lethal. They scry that to the bottom, Growth Spiral, and pass the turn. We get another Battle Rage. We could just attack with the Refurbs, which is enough to force a Fog. If they have like a Weather the Storm, they still have to just do that in response. Yeah, I think we just do this. Try to deal them 4. Moment's Peace. You got it. They have 1 card left, so if I can just find another burn spell, or they just don't draw very well. Unfortunately, their Campus helps Scry, and they leave that one on top, so that's not a good sign. Found a Synthesizer. Let's play that. Trigger all these guys. Souleater. Cast that. Trigger these guys again. We'll go to attacks. I swing with a couple of these. That's going to force a fog. And I cast this and I cast this. So if they have a Weather the Storm, they go for it. Then I could just die, or I could, like, the bolt would not prevent it. I think I just go for this. If we hit a bolt off of this or a galvanic, then I can go for lethal and hope they don't have a Weather the Storm. Or we get a Mirror Enforcer and it's another useless attacker, basically. Honestly, I probably shouldn't cast it because it just doesn't do anything. And if they do have the Weather the Storm, then it's just detrimental. They're going to scry 1 and they leave it on top. Preordain. Found a Lorien revealed. Yup. I haven't seen a single Pyroblast. Alright. And, I mean, that can pump these, but it doesn't really matter. Guess we might as well have as much mana as we can. So part of me thinks there's not reason to attack with more than a couple guys, which is probably true. If they have a Weather the Storm and we only attack for 4, that could do it. Probably should just attack with a Souleater, because if they have a Respite, they can gain life. I don't care as much about Tangle at this point, but I also don't care about the mana, so we might as well just pump this up enough to force the fog. There it is. And they tap out, which is crazy, because if I had the Galvanic Blast, then I could win. But unfortunately, we're 1 damage off. I guess they just probably didn't have a counterspell or anything. I mean, that's kind of a good sign to us that they don't have a counterspell, or did not, or Weather the Storm, any way to gain life or prevent damage. But it doesn't really matter unless we get another Galvanic Blast, or can get in for 1 more damage. They might have the Stream of Thought now. I don't think they're going to have enough to be lethal, but maybe they do like a mini one and they do another one next turn. Replicate it twice, yeah, so that's going to be 12, and they can shuffle a bunch of stuff in. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, we know they have a Moment's Peace. This is Simic High Tide. This is Simic Turbo Fog, Sultai. The black is just for Bojuka Bog, I believe. So it's pretty much just Simic Turbo Fog. This is the Turbo Fog that was played before the Black Gardens version took off. So their game plan is just Stream of Thought. They have counter spells instead of like draw spells like the black version has. I mean, they have some draw spells too. We know they have a Moment's Peace. So my goal, I think what I'm gonna do, because I'm pretty sure they didn't have a counter spell last turn. If I don't draw anything relevant, I mean, Pyroblast is okay. I'm just gonna attack with a Souleater, and I'm not gonna pump it. I'm going to forget to pump it, which ideally they'll just take, and then I can get them with a bolt. That's the goal. Now, if they see this as a possibility, they might just cast the Moment's Peace anyway, but they took it. So I don't think they have, I don't think they had a Weather the Storm or a counterspell last turn, so I'm just going to go for it. If they have a counterspell, I can Pyroblast, but if they don't have anything... Okay, they have a Blue Blast. Do they have another? Yes. So if they had just cast the Moment's Peace there, we couldn't have won that there. And so I knew pumping would force them to use the Moment's Peace, so by not forcing them to, we can get them. And they might have had the Blue Elemental Blast last turn, but again, they tapped out fully, which seems really risky if they have the Blast, so I feel like they probably didn't. So, yeah, able to get them there a little bit. Heyo, just got back to Magic after 12 years. Been playing Pauper exclusively and found your YouTube channel today. Really enjoying the videos. I'm glad that you're back. Magic is... as always, pretty good. You know, some issues, some ups and downs, but Pauper's great. And I've been making Pauper videos for like a year and a half now, so you have a lot of videos you can go back and watch if you want. So, got him. Yep, we outplayed them a little bit there. Because, of course, they want to sandbag the fogs if they can. If they don't have to use them, they want to save them. So I think that made the most sense. Obviously, it worked out there. So I'm pretty happy with that. Do not understand why they fell for the failing to pump. You always had the option to pump at instant speed. Well, I'm assuming I'm understanding you right. I mean, we had priority first, so when I passed to not pump it, then if they say, okay, this is fine by me, then I don't get the chance to pump it again. So they could, like, they fell for a little trick I was going for, but sometimes with Magic Online, people just make mistakes, so they might have just thought I accidentally passed one more phase than I meant to, and so yeah, so like they didn't have the ability to. I didn't have the ability to pump it again after that. But I mean, you know, if they had suspected what I was going for there, then they might have still wanted to cast the Moment's Peace. But you know, it was kind of a weird play that I was making, so it's not 100% that they should have. Or is it that they evaluated 1 damage as not being worth a whole fog card? Yeah, I mean that's basically it. But if they knew that my intention was to not pump it, then they probably would have cast the Moment's Peace because they would have known I was up to something. But yeah, they probably thought that I made a mistake, and well, why would they waste a whole Moment's Peace on 1 damage when the only reason I'm dealing 1 damage is because I made a mistake? Because maybe they thought I got sloppy or lazy with it because it's a little repetitive doing the same thing every turn, pumping it with Turbo Fog. that they might have thought that I was just cutting corners and that I was like, whatever, I'll just deal the damage. I don't know. I assume they did not think I did it intentionally, in which case they can take advantage of my perceived mistake by keeping their fog card, which obviously cost. That's my assumption, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, well, this deck was really sweet. I think there's a lot of potential here, honestly. I got 2 3/2s with it, so not perfect, but I think there's some stuff to be done. I know Lotus Petal's really tempting for that explosive early start, but even when we got it a couple times, it was interrupted by a blocker on turn 1 or removal. There's just a lot of cheap removal and cheap blockers that I think it's probably not worth it, and it's just not as much my style of play. I think if we're leaning into having that early explosive start, but also having the late game, I think just cutting the petals is probably where I want to be. And if that's the case, I want to add at least one more land. I think it's probably just going to be a swamp. It could be a mountain, but I felt like I guess you want to lean red because of the Souleaters, so that's fair. I felt like there were a couple times I was a little pinched on black, though. So I think I'd do like one swamp, and then we could either just put in like 2 more lightning bolts, which isn't bad. Also, the Mirror Enforcer I don't think is bad by any means, but it could definitely be cut for something else if you wanted. Maybe swap Petals for Fanatical Offering for more late game. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. One of my issues with that is we don't really have anything we want to sacrifice to a Fanatical Offering. I would say the only cards we are really happy to do that with in most all circumstances is the blood token from Fountain, or maybe a synthesizer. Obviously, you're okay sacrificing any creature that's about to die. You're okay sacrificing a land late game, but on turn 3, you don't want to sack a land, you don't want to sack a creature. So Fanaticals could just get stuck in your hand. But I don't hate it too, because it's another way to trigger Fiend at instant speed. And I think the thing that I really love about, one of the things I really love about Black Sack is that people, when they're taking the damage and they don't block or whatever, they're evaluating how much damage you can do. And then cards like Supernatural Stamina that can instant speed change the math can get you so many wins just because your opponent's not expecting it. And so I think instant speed ways, obviously with a Rapier, they're going to assume, okay, you might have an instant because that can pump this. But they're going to be less likely to assume there's going to be an instant speed artifact with the Glaze Fiend. So that's why I really liked the Toxin Analysis. I think that's cool. Not that I think we need more than 2. So Fanatical could be cool to fill that role a little bit. Fake Your Own Death. I think Fake Your Own Death doesn't really work in this deck. I get that it's, it does make an artifact, and it is it's similar to what I was saying in Black Sack, but it doesn't work with the Rapier token. It's fine with Glaze Fiend and Souleater, but if you already paid a lot of life with Souleater, it's kind of it doesn't matter if this dies, that's already gone. Or it doesn't matter if this comes back because you've already expended that resource. It's decent with Glaze Fiend, but it's also just 2 mana is really expensive for that. I think having Synth is enough since Offering does feed itself too. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if we're also only putting in 2 Fanatical Offerings, I think it's not a bad idea. Yeah, I don't think that's bad. I was wanting more card draw for sure. And again, the fact that it pumps the Fiend I like. Honestly, just more instants for both Fiend and Rapier I think is pretty good. So yeah, a couple of these. I mean, that's all the room we have, all the space we have, unless we want to add or take something else away. I think the Enforcers are interesting enough that I don't think they need to be cut yet. I think they might be something you'd want to cut eventually, but yeah, I kind of like this. Yeah, I think Offering is definitely something worth trying. Rakdos Glaze Fiend is suitably spooky for Halloween livestream. Nice choice. Yeah, I didn't specifically plan anything for Halloween and then realized that I have a video that just went up today. It was Black Sack. Ooh, spooky because there's vampires and stuff. And then, yeah, so hopefully this is suitable. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. Also, the sideboard, I definitely think the Cast in the Fires is decent here. Sideboard seems fine. I mean, this is probably the best Glaze Fiend deck I've seen in a while, so I'm pretty happy with it, I think. Part of me thinks, honestly, 4 Souleaters might be more than you need. Because they're really bad in multiples, like maybe just 3. But, of course, if you're going for the early... Maybe in my version that I'm cutting the Lotus Petals for, you could cut another Souleater just because we're not going to be able to do that turn 2 win ever. So, like, maybe we go up another Offering here. How do you like the Duskmar lands? When playing them in Limited, it came up on occasion. Yeah. I think they're pretty decent in here. It's not that hard to have them come on untapped on turn, like, 4, which isn't, it's pretty late. This is certainly not an untapped land in the early game. But if you play a Glaze Fiend or a Souleater or Rapier on turn 2, are able to pump it up a couple times, you can maybe get these untapped on turn 4, which is pretty decent. They could obviously just be, I think the other land you could choose instead of this would be Jagged Barrens, which is obviously a little more damage, but it's more fully tap lands, whereas the bridges are the only ones that always come into play tapped. I kind of liked the Gorges. I think they were decent. Not really any complaints with them. I mean, there were a few times I wish it was an artifact land, but I'm not going to put Darksteel Citadels in here with so many pips, and those are the only other artifact lands except for bridges that we could put in, and I'm not going to put in more tap lands either, just for that. So yeah, I think I'm happy with these. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is probably what I would run next time, and see if the offerings are any good. Toxin, I was pretty happy with against Rakdos Madness. They almost made a game winnable when it otherwise wouldn't be without the life gain. The Death Touch with the Krark's nice. Yeah, there's definitely some other playing around you could try with this though. I was trying to Rakdos Affinity list with Fireweaver and Black Mage's Rod. They both felt good. Yeah, I think that's a slightly different list than this would be. But I don't mind those at all, and I think they're really good in the right deck. It's just a little different because we're wanting to make the Temur Battle Rages as good as possible. It's great with any of these 12 or I guess now 11 cards. Pretty good with the Enforcers and medium with these. But if we have to swap like 8 of our creatures for Black Mage's Rod and Fireweavers, then our Temur Battle Rages are suddenly not very good. So I think a list that very similar to this, but swapping that Temur Battle Rage package and maybe these 7 for Fireweaver and Black Mage's Rod, but still maybe even doing the Glaze Fiend or something, like I think that could be a cool list. I just think it's slightly different. If you ever end up hating the Enforcers, Black Mage's Rod is probably the next best thing. Yeah, I do think Rod has some potential in here, just because it's really good with Galvanic Blasts and whatnot, and it's an artifact and all this stuff, but mostly for the Temur Battle Rage reason, I think the Enforcers I like a little bit more right now. Finally caught alive. Good videos, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I will say, if you just popped in, I'm glad you're here. I am just about to end stream, I will say. But I appreciate everybody hanging out. So yeah, we were able to do 2 leagues with this deck. These videos will be up on the channel within a couple days. And yeah, hope everyone has a happy Halloween. I think we're going to raid